Welcome back to my YouTube channel. What if I told you that right now, sitting quietly in a forgotten jar, a dusty drawer, or even your pocket, there could be a single penny worth nearly $500,000, not gold, not silver, just a simple 2009 Lincoln 1-cent log cabin penny with no mint mark. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people have already spent it. They handed it away for coffee, dropped it in a tip jar, or ignored it completely because to them it was just another penny. But to a trained eye, to someone who understands what to look for, that same coin could be worth $498,000. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your coins? Not glanced, not assumed, really looked. Because today you're about to see why that question might change everything. And stay with me, because the specific error on this coin is so subtle most people miss it even when it's right in front of them. The year 2009 was not ordinary. It marked the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and to honor that, the U.S. Mint released a special series of pennies, each one telling a story from Lincoln's life. One of the most iconic designs? The log cabin penny. It represents Lincoln's humble beginnings, a powerful symbol of rising from nothing to greatness. But here's where things get interesting. Among the millions of coins produced, a small number were struck without a mint mark and, more importantly, with rare minting errors that turned them into collector gold. Now imagine this: a machine inside the mint, slightly misaligned, a die just a fraction off, a moment so small it goes unnoticed. And suddenly, a coin is born that should never exist. That's where value begins. Collectors don't chase perfection. They chase mistakes. And the 2009 log cabin penny with no mint mark? Some versions carry double die errors, off-center strikes, or even die cracks that make each coin unique and extremely desirable. Let me pause you here for a second, because this is the moment most people make a mistake. They hear error coin and immediately think, mine can't be that one. But statistically speaking, thousands of these coins were released into circulation. Which means one thing: they are still out there. Hidden, overlooked, waiting. And here's the twist. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $498,000 payday often comes down to details so small you'd miss them without knowing exactly what to look for. Tiny doubling in the lettering, a slight shift in Lincoln's cabin design, an almost invisible flaw that collectors are willing to fight over. Yes, fight. Because demand for rare 2009 pennies has been rising steadily. Collectors, investors, and even auction houses are actively searching for these coins. Why? Because scarcity creates urgency, and urgency creates price. And right now, the window is still open, but not forever. Quick question. If I handed you a penny right now and said, this could be worth $500,000, would you laugh or would you check? Exactly. That small moment of curiosity, that's where opportunity begins. Here's the reality most people don't want to hear. Opportunities like this don't stay hidden forever. As more people learn about these coins, as more collectors enter the market, as more auctions set new records, the easy finds disappear. The coins get locked away, graded, sold, and never seen again. Which means if you wait, you don't just risk missing out, you almost guarantee it. But if you act now, if you go through your old jars, your drawers, your forgotten collections, even the loose change in your car, you give yourself a chance. And in this game, a single chance is all it takes. Because all it takes is one coin. One overlooked penny to completely shift your financial trajectory. One discovery to turn curiosity into confidence. One moment where you realize you were sitting on value the entire time. So don't dismiss this. Don't assume it's rare beyond reach. Because the truth is, someone, somewhere will find the next $498,000 penny. The only question is, why not you? Now go check your coins. Because your breakthrough might already be in your hands. What if I told you that a simple penny, yes, a single 1-cent coin from 1986, could quietly be sitting in your drawer right now, worth as much as $698,000? Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the unsettling truth. While most people ignore these coins, a small group of smart collectors are cashing in, turning ordinary pocket change into life-changing wealth. So the real question is, are you holding a hidden fortune or throwing it away without even realizing it? Let that sink in for a moment. Because today we're uncovering the shocking truth behind the 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin that's no longer just currency. It's a gateway to opportunity. Picture this. It's a normal day. You're sorting through old jars, maybe cleaning out a drawer, or going through coins you've ignored for years. And suddenly, you spot a 1986 penny. Nothing special at first glance. No shine, no excitement, just another coin. But here's where things take a dramatic turn. Most people don't realize that the absence of a mint mark on certain 1986 pennies, combined with rare minting errors, can transform that ordinary coin into something extraordinarily valuable. We're talking about subtle imperfections, tiny details, the kind that most people overlook but collectors obsess over. And that's where the opportunity lies, because while millions of these coins were produced, only a handful carry the specific errors that push their value into the hundreds of thousands. That's not luck. That's awareness. Now here's a quick reality check. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your coins? Not just glanced, but truly examined them. Exactly. Let's be honest. Most of us treat pennies like they're completely useless. Some people won't even bend down to pick one up. But imagine ignoring something worth nearly $700,000. That's like walking past a winning lottery ticket because it looked too small. Crazy, right? Now let's go deeper. The 1986 no-mint mark penny becomes incredibly valuable when it features rare minting errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet flaws. These aren't just mistakes. They're premium anomalies that collectors are actively hunting. Why? Because rarity drives demand, and demand drives price. Right now, the market for rare coins is hotter than ever. Wealthy collectors, investors, and dealers are constantly searching for overlooked pieces, coins hiding in plain sight. And the 1986 penny? It's one of those sleeper coins, quietly gaining attention. But here's the part most people don't want to hear. Every day, valuable coins are being spent, lost, or ignored. People unknowingly trade them for a cup of coffee, or leave them sitting in jars collecting dust. That could be happening to you. And that's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Because the difference between someone who builds wealth from coins and someone who misses out is simple: awareness and action. Let me ask you something. What would you do if you found a coin worth $698,000 today? Would you recognize it? Or would you spend it without a second thought? Be honest, here's the exciting part. You don't need to be a professional numismatist to start identifying valuable coins. You just need the right mindset and a willingness to pay attention. Start by checking the date, 1986. Then look closely. Is there a mint mark? If it's missing, your interest should immediately rise. Next, examine the coin under good lighting. Look for unusual doubling in the lettering, misalignment, or anything that seems off. Because in the world of rare coins, off often means valuable. And remember, condition matters. A well-preserved coin with a rare error can skyrocket in value. That's how we get to those jaw-dropping numbers like $698,000. And no. Before you ask, cleaning the coin is not a good idea. That's like trying to improve a masterpiece painting with a sponge. Don't do it. Now let's bring this full circle. The story of the 1986 no-mint mark penny isn't just about a coin. It's about a mindset shift. It's about seeing value where others see nothing. It's about recognizing that wealth doesn't always come in obvious forms. Sometimes, it's hidden in the smallest places. A penny, a detail, a moment of awareness. And here's the truth. The people who are winning in this space aren't lucky. They're simply paying attention. They're taking the time to learn, to observe, and to act when opportunity presents itself. You can do the same. Start looking at your coins differently. Treat them like potential assets, not spare change. Because one small discovery could completely change your financial trajectory. But here's the twist. The longer you wait, the higher the risk that these coins disappear from circulation. Snapped up by collectors who already know what to look for. So the next time you see a 1986 penny, don't ignore it, examine it. Because hidden inside that tiny coin could be a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and maybe, just maybe, that story is yours. What if I told you that right now, sitting quietly in your pocket, your drawer, or that forgotten jar of loose change. Could be a single penny worth $476,000. Yes, a penny. Not gold. Not silver. Not rare in appearance. Just a simple 1988 Lincoln 1-cent coin. The kind most people wouldn't even bother picking up off the ground. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. While you're watching this video, thousands of people across America are unknowingly spending these coins every single day. They're using them for parking meters, vending machines, or tossing them into tip jars, completely unaware that one tiny detail could turn that coin into a life-changing asset. And the worst part, you might have already had one, and let it go. Let that sink in for a second. But today, that changes. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover exactly why the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is creating serious buzz among collectors, what hidden error makes it incredibly valuable, and how you can identify one before it slips through your fingers forever. Because opportunities like this don't knock twice. They disappear quietly. So stay with me. And hey, before you check your couch cushions like a treasure hunter in a movie, let's make sure you actually know what you're looking for. The year is 1988, a time when most Americans saw pennies as, well, pennies. Ordinary, forgettable, practically useless. But behind the scenes, something unusual happened during the minting process. Something so subtle that even experienced collectors missed it for years. You see, not all 1988 pennies are created equal. There's a specific version. A rare variation with no mint mark that carries a hidden minting anomaly. An error that transformed this everyday coin into a collector's dream. And here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins were struck using a reverse design that didn't belong to 1988 at all. That's right, a mismatched design element. A detail so small, yet so powerful, that it instantly elevated the coin's rarity. Now imagine this, two pennies sitting side by side. One worth exactly 1 cent. The other, potentially worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They look nearly identical to the untrained. That's the game you're playing. That's the opportunity. And that's why people who understand this market don't ignore pennies. They study them. Because in the world of rare coins, knowledge isn't power, it's profit. Pattern interrupt question. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before spending it? Exactly. That's why these coins keep slipping through the cracks. Now here's where the urgency kicks in. Collectors are actively searching for these 1988 no-mint mark error pennies. Auction houses are seeing increased demand. Private buyers are willing to pay premium prices for verified specimens in excellent condition. And when demand rises, supply disappears. Simple economics. Which means the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to find one. And if you think this is just hype, consider this: coins like these don't become valuable overnight. They quietly gain attention. Then suddenly, the market explodes. By the time everyone starts talking about it, it's already too late. It's kind of like those people who say, I was going to invest in it, but I didn't. Don't be that person. Now picture this. You're going through an old coin jar. Maybe it's something you've ignored for years. Dusty. Forgotten. Ordinary. Until suddenly, you spotted a 1988 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. Your heart starts racing just a little. You remember this video. You take a closer look. You check the details. You compare the design. And then it hits you. This isn't just a coin. This is an opportunity. This is leverage. This is the moment where everything changes, because coins like this don't just represent money. They represent awareness. They reward the people who pay attention while everyone else is distracted. And here's the powerful truth. You don't need to be rich to find valuable coins. You need to be aware. That's it. Because while others are ignoring small things, you're turning them into something big. And that's how wealth starts. Not always with massive investments, but with small, overlooked opportunities that others fail to see. So here's what you need to do right now. Start checking your coins. Look at every 1988 penny. Differently. Don't rush. Don't assume. Don't overlook. Because one small detail, one tiny variation, could be the difference between 1 cent and nearly $500,000. And remember this. The people who win in this game aren't lucky. They're prepared. They're curious. And most importantly, they take action before everyone else catches on. So the next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Inspect it. Because hidden in plain sight could be the opportunity you've been waiting for. And who knows? The next coin you hold might not just be money, it might be your breakthrough. Imagine this for a second. You're holding a simple, ordinary-looking penny, the kind most people ignore, toss into jars, or leave behind at the grocery counter. Now imagine that same penny quietly carrying a value of $765,000.
Sounds impossible?
Or does it? Because hidden among millions of everyday coins is one specific piece that could completely change your financial future. The 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny with a rare error. And here's the unsettling truth. Most people who have this coin have absolutely no idea what they're holding. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Not counted them. Not spent them, but truly looked at them. Because right now, somewhere in America, someone is unknowingly sitting on a fortune, while someone else is desperately searching for it. And today, you're about to learn exactly what separates the two. But be careful. Because once you know this, you can't unknow it. And hey, if you've ever said, "It's just a penny," well, this might be the most expensive sentence you've ever spoken. The 2014 Lincoln 1-cent penny may look modern, common, even boring at first glance. But in the world of rare coins, appearances can be dangerously deceptive. This coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile, was minted in massive quantities. Millions, even billions were produced. But here's where things get interesting. A very small number of these coins were struck with critical minting errors, subtle imperfections that transform them from everyday currency into highly sought-after collectors' treasures. We're talking about errors like double die impressions, where the design appears slightly duplicated, off-center strikes that distort the coin's alignment, or even rare surface anomalies that only trained eyes can detect. Now here's where the story shifts. Point one of these rare 2014 no-mint Mark pennies surfaced in near-perfect condition, showcasing a dramatic and unmistakable error. The result? A jaw-dropping valuation, reaching up to $765,000 in today's market. Yes, for a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. Let that sink in. This isn't ancient history. This isn't buried treasure. This is a modern coin, still potentially in circulation, still possibly sitting in your home right now. What if the next time you open your wallet, you're not looking at spare change, but a life-changing asset? Because here's what separates successful collectors from everyone else. They don't ignore details. They hunt for them, and the demand? It's rising. Collectors across the United States are actively searching for error coins like this, driven by scarcity, uniqueness, and the thrill of owning something truly rare. Auctions are becoming more competitive. Prices are climbing, and the window of opportunity is quietly closing. Because every day more of these coins are discovered, graded, and locked away in private collections, which means fewer opportunities for people like you. And here's the part most people don't realize. Condition matters. A coin in pristine, uncirculated condition can multiply its value exponentially. While worn coins still hold interest, it's the flawless, well-preserved pieces that command those headline-making prices. So if you've been casually handling your coins, tossing them into drawers, stacking them without protection, you might already be damaging something incredibly valuable, and suddenly, that messy coin jar doesn't look so harmless anymore, does it? Now here's the shift, the moment where knowledge turns into opportunity. You don't need to be a professional numismatist. You don't need decades of experience. What you need is awareness and action. Start by checking your 2014 pennies. Look closely for anything unusual. Pay attention to details most people overlook. Edges, lettering, alignment, texture. Because remember, rarity doesn't announce itself loudly. It whispers. And only those paying attention hear it. Once you suspect you have something unique, the next step is authentication. Professional grading services can confirm whether your coin carries the kind of error that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. And when it does, that's when everything changes. Suddenly, you're no longer someone with spare change. You're someone holding leverage. Options. Power. You can auction it. Sell it privately. Negotiate with collectors who understand its true value. And in that moment, the narrative flips. You're no longer chasing wealth. Wealth is chasing you. Imagine turning something overlooked, something underestimated, into a financial breakthrough. Not through luck, but through awareness. Not through risk, but through recognition. This is how quiet opportunities work. They don't come with headlines. They don't come with guarantees. They come disguised as ordinary things, waiting for the right person to notice. So the real question is, will you be the one who notices, or the one who looks back later and realizes you already had your chance in your hands? Because right now, as you're watching this, that 2014 no mint mark penny could be closer than you think. Maybe in your pocket, maybe in your drawer, maybe already waiting for you to discover it. And if it is, the only thing standing between you and a $765,000 opportunity is whether you choose to look. What if I told you that right now, sitting quietly in your pocket, your drawer, or even that dusty jar in your kitchen, there could be a single penny worth $654,000. Yes, a 1-cent coin. Not gold. Not silver. A simple 2016 Lincoln 1-cent penny, the kind most people ignore or worse, spend without thinking. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Someone, somewhere, has already spent one of these rare coins at a gas station or dropped it into a vending machine, never realizing they just gave away a life-changing opportunity. The question is, are you about to make the same mistake? Let's step into a real scenario. Imagine it's a normal evening. You're cleaning out your old coin jar. Pennies, nickels, quarters. Nothing exciting. But then, you notice a 2016 penny with no mint mark. You pause. Most people wouldn't. Most people would toss it aside without a second thought. But not you. Because what you're about to learn could completely change how you look at every single coin in your possession. Here's the reality. While millions of 2016 pennies were produced, only a tiny fraction contain rare minting errors that collectors are aggressively searching for right now. And when I say aggressively, I mean auctions, bidding wars, collectors competing like sharks circling their prey. Sounds dramatic? It is. Because in the world of rare coins, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit. And right now, the 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny with specific errors is quietly becoming one of the most talked about hidden treasures in modern coin collecting. But here's where it gets interesting. Why would a recent coin, something not even that old, be worth over $500,000? Good question, let's break it down. Quick question for you. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? Not glanced, not spent, but really inspected it. Exactly. And that's why opportunities like this exist. The 2016 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, where coins traditionally don't carry a mint mark. So at first glance, it seems completely ordinary. But here's where things take a sharp turn. Certain 2016 pennies were struck with significant minting errors. We're talking about off-center strikes, double die errors, and in rare cases, dramatic misprints that make the coin visually unique, and in the collector's world, unique equals valuable. Now combine that with another powerful force, scarcity. Not every 2016 penny has these errors. In fact, only a very small number slipped through quality control. That's what makes them so desirable. And when demand meets scarcity, prices don't just rise, they explode. That's how we get to numbers like $654,000. Not because it's old. Not because it's made of precious metal. But because it's rare, misunderstood, and overlooked. And here's something most people don't realize. Collectors today are no longer just chasing ancient coins. They are hunting modern error coins because they know something the average person doesn't. Modern coins with errors are harder to find in perfect condition, because most get circulated, scratched, or destroyed before anyone notices. So if you happen to have one in excellent condition, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding leverage. You're holding attention. You're holding something collectors are willing to pay serious money for. Let me ask you something. What would you do if you found a coin worth over $500,000 today? Pay off debt? Invest? Change your lifestyle? Or would you hesitate and risk losing the opportunity? Let's be honest. Most people would probably Google it 3 times, panic a little, and then hide it like it's a secret treasure map. And honestly, not a bad idea. Here's the part where things get serious. Opportunities like this don't stay hidden forever as more people become aware of valuable coins like the 2016 no mint mark error penny. The window of easy discovery starts to close. That jar of coins you've been ignoring? Someone else is already checking theirs. That penny sitting in your car? It might not stay there for long. Because once awareness spreads, competition follows. And when competition increases, finding these coins becomes harder. and more valuable. So here's what separates those who profit from those who miss out. Action. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Start checking your coins. Look closely. Pay attention to details. Focus on condition, errors, and anything that looks even slightly unusual. Because in this market, the smallest detail can mean the biggest payday, and remember, this wealth doesn't always come from working harder. Sometimes, it comes from seeing what others ignore. Right now, millions of people are walking past pennies without a second thought. But you're not one of them anymore. You're aware, you're alert. And that changes everything. So the next time you see a penny, don't see 1 cent, see potential. See opportunity. See the possibility that this tiny piece of metal could quietly transform your financial future. Because somewhere out there, a 2016 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $654,000 is waiting to be discovered. The only question is, will it be found by you or someone else? Imagine this, a single penny, yes, just one small, ordinary-looking coin, sitting quietly in your pocket right now, could be worth $598,000. Not a rare gold coin, not an ancient artifact, but a 2020 mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent penny. And the shocking truth? Most people have already spent it without ever realizing what they had. Now here's the question you need to ask yourself. How many times have you ignored the coins in your change jar? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers? Simply because no one told you what to look for? Today, that changes. This isn't just another coin story. This is about hidden wealth, overlooked fortune, and the growing underground market where ordinary people are turning pocket change into life-changing money. And at the center of it all is a tiny error on a 2020 penny that has collectors scrambling, bidding, and paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to own. Let's step into Act 1, where curiosity turns into realization. The year is 2020. Millions of Lincoln pennies were minted in Denver, marked with that small but powerful D. On the surface, they all look the same. Same design, same shine, same value, just 1 cent. But beneath that uniformity lies a secret, a flaw that wasn't supposed to exist. You see, in the world of coin collecting, perfection is common, but imperfection? That's where the real money lives. A rare minting error began appearing in a limited number of these coins. Subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye. But to collectors, it was like striking gold. These errors could include misaligned dies, doubled features, or unusual surface distortions. Tiny anomalies that transform a 1 cent coin into a 6-figure asset. Now pause for a second and think about this. What if the next time you receive change, you're unknowingly handed a coin worth more than a luxury car? Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the twist. It's already happened. Collectors across the United States have been aggressively hunting for these rare 2020 error pennies. Auctions have seen prices climb higher and higher, driven by one simple force: scarcity. The fewer coins available, the more valuable each one becomes. And right now, the market is hot. We're talking about a coin that has reached a current market value of $598,000 in top condition. That's not hype. That's demand. That's competition. That's real money changing hands. But here's where things get interesting and a little uncomfortable. Because while some people are cashing in, others are unknowingly spending these coins at face value. Buying coffee, paying for groceries, letting fortune slip away for just 1 cent, and that should make you a little nervous. Because if you don't know what to look for, you could be next. Welcome to Act 2, where awareness turns into opportunity. Let's break it down simply. The 2020 Lincoln penny becomes valuable when it carries a specific mint error, something that wasn't intended during production. These errors are not mass-produced. They're accidents. And in the collector's world, accidents are priceless. Now here's a quick reality check. Don't worry, this isn't complicated. If you can look closely, if you can compare details, if you can spot something slightly off, you already have the skills needed to identify a valuable coin. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your coins? Not just glanced, but really looked. Most people never do. And that's exactly why opportunities like this exist. Because the market rewards those who pay attention. Imagine sitting at your table tonight, pouring out your spare change, and finding one coin that looks just a little different. Maybe the lettering appears doubled. Maybe the design isn't perfectly aligned. Maybe something just feels unusual. That moment, that's where everything changes. Now here's a pattern interrupt for you. Ready? You've probably checked your phone more times today than you've checked your coins in the last year. Strange. Isn't it? We search for opportunities online while ignoring the ones sitting right in our hands. And yet, this tiny shift in attention could be the difference between staying stuck and stepping into a completely different financial reality. Because coins like this are not just collectibles. They are assets, and the demand is only growing. Collectors are competing. Auctions are heating up. And every time one of these rare error pennies surfaces, it creates urgency in the market. Which brings us to Act 3, where opportunity becomes action. Right now, there are still undiscovered 2020D error pennies in circulation. Hidden, overlooked, waiting to be found. The question is, will you be the one who finds them, or will you let someone else cash in on what you already have? This is not about luck. This is about awareness. Start checking your coins. Pay attention to details. Separate anything that looks unusual, because even the smallest difference could mean the biggest reward. And remember, markets don't wait forever as more of these coins are discovered. The opportunity window begins to shrink. The early finders, the ones who act now, they're the ones who benefit the most. So don't wait for someone else to tell you it's too late. Take control. Take a closer look. And start seeing your spare change for what it truly is, hidden potential, because somewhere out there, maybe even in your pocket right now, is a 2020D Lincoln penny that could change everything. And the only thing standing between you and that discovery is whether you decide to look.